All right. All right, everybody. Welcome back. This is our first lesson after spring break, part two of Introduction to Integers. We're basically reviewing some key ideas with integers so that we can recall a few things that we need to be able to add them, subtract them, multiply them, and divide them accurately, and then mush them all together. So last time we did Introduction to Integers. We looked at how we would place them on number lines and sort of what the opposites are. So every integer has an opposite. And today I'm starting off with a little question for you. This is Introduction to Integers Part 2, April 6th, 2020. So if you're watching this and it's April 15th, there's some math for you. You're 9 days behind. 9 days, because 15 subtract 6 is 9. Yeah. But anyways, just do the best you can. We're hanging in there. We're still learning, and we're going to try to continue on. And I'm still drinking coffee like crazy. I got my Spartans mug today. So today's lesson's being sponsored by TW Spartans. All right. So here's my question for you. What number is represented if a shaded in circle represents +1 and a non-shaded circle represents -1? So on the grade 8 exam, this is often the key that's used. Shaded in quantities are positive and non-shaded are negative oftentimes. The big thing to do is to look at the key and then determine it. So right here we have a series of non-shaded circles. It looks like a key tells us that each one of them stands for -1. So if we take a look at this, there's 4 and 3, so that would be 7 together. And this represents -7. Now I'm going to give you a minute to write down the notes. You can always pause the picture, take a look at it. Some of you have been asking me, well, what should we be doing all the time here? Well, first thing you should do is you should check Google Classroom every day and see if there's something new that I put on. For example, today there's going to be some assignments that go along with part 1 and part 2. So after you watch the lesson and follow the link on YouTube to go see that, you should take a look at the assignment, and you should find some way to be able to complete it, either on loose leaf where it's really well labeled and you can send a picture back to me, or a Google document. Some of the questions that we're working on here are just numerical answers. There's not a lot of steps. So you can just put 1A answer -3. 1B answer -4, and you could create a Google document if you don't have a printer. Another thing you can do is you can actually print off the assignment so that you have a record of it, and snap a good quality picture, send it back to me on Google Classroom or by email, and that's one way that you can get your assignments into me. Sound good? Good. Anyway, back to the lesson. So here's another way we could represent -7. So I wanted to show you this the other day, but sometimes people are confused. Now, a lot of times when we work with number lines, most number lines you see 0 is right in the middle. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bump 0 over to the right on my number line. I'm going to put it over here because my integer that I'm working with is -7. And for right now, I don't really need much of the positive values. I don't need them for showing this. And 0 is just an arbitrary point in space. Okay, it's halfway on most number lines, but 0 is the neutral number between the negatives and the positives. So if this is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, I was off by 1, look at that, -7. So I could represent that over here with a dot, make it nice and clear. We could also represent it with an arrow going to the left, like so. Another thing that we consider when we're working with integers are words that have positive or negative types of meaning. So positive or negative words. So part of the assignment that's coming up to get you back warmed up into the world of positive and negative numbers is identifying a value and the sign. So with positive and negative words, we'll just do a couple of examples here. Some of the common ones, if we had words like decrease, think for a minute. If you have a word like decrease, is that a positive sounding word or is that a negative sounding word? Well, if you guess negative, you're right. If we have below, a lot of times we talk about, like the other day, it snowed out here. April 2nd, snowstorm, kind of similar to 1997, the year of the flood of the century. April 2nd, there was a huge snowstorm, quick melt, it contributed to the flood. That's a little science for your water systems. But anyways, the temperature actually reached, I think about 15 below zero, 15 degrees below zero on April 2nd. So that's a negative number, below, negative. Dealing with money. Money is another thing. If you owe somebody money, that means you're in debt to them. That means you're behind in your payments, and that's a negative sounding word. Another one is a loss or lose. So if you fall behind in a game and you lose some points, you might be suffering a loss. Those are all negative sounding words. Negative. But on the other hand, there might be things like increase. That's a positive sounding word. So if you're working at a job and your pay increases by 50 cents an hour, kind of a common increase, that would be like positive 50. It would be going up. Another one is the word up, above. Sometimes we do word problems. We talk about being above sea level. So sea level is 0. That would be the integer 0, where water meets the land is sea level. And then as you climb up mountains and as you ascend, you get further and further above sea level. So sometimes the word above is one of those words. Gain. So these are examples of positive words. So if you are like me, I've been in isolation now for about 2 or 3 weeks. We've been staying home like everybody else in the world because of the COVID-19. And I'm not ashamed to say, you know what, I've gained a couple pounds. And that would be like a positive value, an increase. So increase, going up, above, gain. There are others, but those are some of the ones that I want you to know for now. And then you'll have a chance to figure the other ones out on your own. Okay, so that was part 2 of Introduction to Integers. We're going to do part 3 right away, which is going to be comparing integers. And what I expect you to be doing is taking some of these notes, thinking about it, reviewing the video. I'm trying to keep each section a little bit shorter so that it doesn't take forever and that you can get by and kind of bite off small chunks to get the assignments done. Okay, make sure you email me, or you can phone the school, or you can send me a message on Google Classroom if you have any questions. Be glad to meet with you on Zoom. I could do a Zoom conference call with you, and we could create a group, go one-on-one, 2, 3 people. If you have the same questions, I'll invite you to a meeting. So then we can do a kind of a remote classroom. It'd be kind of cool. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Okay, thanks a lot, and make sure you listen to part 3. Stop recording now.